3 minutes to go in the first quarter. This game is tied at 9 apiece. Weaver just checked in for the Wildcats. Now Daly dribbling up top, takes the screen from Mata Musayo, kicks it out to Weaver for 3. First lead of the game for Northwestern. She knows it, just looking at that. Delays her swing and just perfect timing to get the ball down. Brumbaugh 0 for 2 on the day with a strikeout and a ground out. 2 outs, runner on second. First pitch comes in, slice to the hot corner, bounces off of Bianchina's glove. That will hold Overbeek at third, but runners on the corners for the Cornhuskers with 2 outs.
This was the guy, Zach Lane, who he walked, I believe, on 4 pitches. Got to get ahead on him early.
Didn't listen to you. 1-0 count. Struggled to command the off speed there. The 1-0 with 1 out. Inside. 2-0. Griffin's seen a little bit of deja vu over here. The 2-0. Hit well out to left field. Tracking back is not, and that's over the wall. Zach Lane takes the lead for the Panthers. Milwaukee up 3-2 thanks to that solo shot. With the serve. Rousseau way off the net, but Dotson gets it done. Now Boo Buoy beyond the 3-point line, dribbling around. He's at the top of the key, makes a move inside, left hand, thinks about it, passes it back to Mullins. He kicks it out to Buoy, deep 3. Number 0 becomes number 1. Boo Buoy now the all-time leading scorer in Northwestern men's basketball history with 2,039 points. Tony Livermore digs in, the senior from Chicago. He was 0 for 2 yesterday with a walk, but he walked it off on Friday. Gets a hit there. Oppo. Bianchina coming around, the other senior. The 1-1. Chop to the shortstop. Keister, he throws across. Clarko can't collect it. Coming home is Livermore. A scrappy way to get run number 2 from Northwestern. And this bottom of the second rolls on. Tied up once again in set number 2. Strong serve. Out of the back row, San Giacomo. Evans with it for Michigan goes to Filia. And a turnover into the hands of Harder. She's got no one in front of her. She cashes in. Again, Northwestern just inching forward, possession by possession. That was a big steal there. What a way to make your mark as a first year. He leads the team in home runs, and he tacks on another one. Makes this game 5-3. Here comes the payoff pitch. Right down the middle. Jackson Freeman is sat down by Thorstenson to end the inning. No rally occurs for the Wildcats. The score remains 6-2 in favor of the Gophers. We head to the top of the 6th. Welcome into Big Ten Plus for some more midweek action here in Evanston. It's beautiful at first pitch, 71 degrees as the Milwaukee Panthers travel across state borders with a 16-29 record overall to take on the Northwestern Wildcats, who hold a 14-30 record coming in. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Brea Lassek alongside my partner Griffin Senek, and we're here for game number 2 of Northwestern's midweek tilt. And it should be a good one. Yesterday, Northwestern came away with a 9-7 victory over Eastern Illinois, thanks to some pretty impressive offensive performances.
Yeah, absolutely. It was the usual suspects.
Bottom of the 8th here in Evanston, Minnesota leads 12-2 over Northwestern. Northwestern took the first game of the series last night off of a walk-off. Much different story here today as the Gophers looking to even up the series. Bennett Markinson up to bat now. He's actually had himself a good day, overshadowed by the monster deficit by the Gophers, but he's 2 for 3 with a double and a single.
Yeah, I mean, that's right, Brea. He was the first Northwestern hit back in the first inning that set up the Jackson Freeman 2-run home run, and since then he had that little infield single back in the 5th.
Clausen returns to the bump for Minnesota. He came in for a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. Couple defensive changes for Minnesota as well. Jurgelez went out to left field. Taxstall has come in for Hunt behind the plate as Markinson swings again and is successful. A 3 for 4 day for Bennett Markinson. Another single to add on to his stat line. He's climbing up there, batting .333 on the season now.
Yeah, and that's a big difference from his sophomore season last season. Again, the playing time was different because Alex Calarco was getting a lot of starts at catcher. Bennett Markinson was playing a lot of first base. But again, just he's really stepped into that third hole in the lineup and held it down all year.
Jackson Freeman up to bat now for the Wildcats. Watches the first pitch go by for a ball outside from Clausen. Freeman had that big blast way back in the bottom of the first. First pitch time was 3 o'clock. Now almost 6 p.m. here in Evanston. The pitch bounces in front of the plate. 2-0 count. But yeah, talking a little bit about how this lineup has been constructed for Northwestern throughout the season. Freeman has started every game as a first year, so Ben Greenspan putting a lot of trust in him. The 2-0. Popped up right field. And Birkeland tracks underneath it. So the first out recorded in the bottom of the 8th. Markinson still standing there on first as Trent Laolis comes up to bat.
Yeah, if we're going to talk about the lineup, I mean, Freeman in that 4 spot has really delivered in his freshman season. Again, he's been out there every day. Hasn't been in the 4 spot every day, but, you know, that combination of power and patience, the power to drive in whoever might be on base, but also the patience to set up that 5, 6, 7 hole. That's an underrated aspect of cleanup hitting that Freeman has really done well for himself.
Laolis attacks the first pitch and sends it into center field. There's a single. Runners on first and second now for the Wildcats. Again, still down 12-2 here in the bottom of the 8th, but this seems to be the first offensive opportunity in a while for them. And right on cue, here comes a pinch hitter for Northwestern, Will Johnson, the first year from Texas. Taking over that DH spot for fellow freshman Zach Selfon.
Yeah, Will Johnson, not too much playing time as we've gotten into Big Ten play, but early on in the season was used a little bit as a DH pinch hitter and had some, I wouldn't call them big moments necessarily. I'd call them productive moments. Still no extra base hits on the season, but drawn some big walks, gotten on base a couple times in the pinch hitting spot. We'll see what he can do here.
Swinging a miss on the first pitch from Clausen. Again, Laolis off of first, Markinson off of second. 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Clausen stares back at second and delivers home. Just misses the strike zone. Count even up at 1-1. Just talking about, this end of the season for Northwestern. Again, it looks like this one has really gotten away from them, down 10, but they've actually won the last 5 out of their 7, which is a big improvement from last season, ending the year strong. The pitch. Opposite field hit for Will Johnson, and all the runners go base to base. Good single there for the first year, as now bases loaded for the Wildcats in the bottom of the 8th. And the senior, Vince Bianchina, coming up to bat.
Yeah, and Vince Bianchina will flip over to the left side here, switch hitter, now facing a right-hander. But we talked about Will Johnson losing some at-bats. A lot of those have gone to Lorenzo Rios, who has been Coach Greenspan's go-to kind of left-handed DH / backup catcher at times. But with that single, Johnson just gets the conversation started for next year.
Yeah, a lot of first years on this roster that have shown flashes for Ben Greenspan. But this guy, Vince Bianchina at the plate, he's a senior that's been through a lot. 4 different head coaches in 4 years. Has been a very loud leader for the Wildcats. Watches the pitch go upstairs. Count even at 1 apiece, 1 out. And all bases occupied.
Yeah, and again, Bianchina, you could talk about the strikeouts. You could talk about, you know, you could talk about negatives, but when you talk about a guy who has not only been through 4 different head coaches, but has kind of been an anchor in the infield, especially this year, playing pretty much every game at third base, shifting around in the lineup where he's needed. You know, guys like that don't grow on trees. So I hope that Northwestern fans appreciate him for what he is and what he's been through his time here, because it's almost over.
Fends off the 1-2 pitch foul. And like you said, he's shifted over to that role at third base. And this is a Northwestern team throughout his college career that has very much been the bottom of the Big Ten in fielding every single year, except this year, they're now at the top of it. So a big turnaround for that, a good positive. As the 1-2 pitch comes in, swing and a miss upstairs. Clausen fools him on the 95-mile-per-hour heater. So 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th as Vince Bianchina goes back to the dugout with his 3rd strikeout of the day. Still bases loaded, though, here for Northwestern as Griffin Arnone, the grad student from Elon, comes up to the plate. Left side of the batter's box facing the righty and Clausen.
Yeah, Arnone mostly at the bottom of the lineup this year, but he actually led this team in home runs last year with 9. Lots of times, ex-coach
Jim Foster.
Yeah. Ex-coach Jim Foster would have him towards the top of the lineup a lot more, often leading off, playing in the outfield. This year, a lot more at the bottom of the lineup as kind of a table setter for that top of the lineup. But again, pockets of success for the grad student.
Check swing there, and the count is at 0-2. Griffin Arnone with bases loaded, 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Again, still a 12-2 lead for Minnesota, but just trying to cut into that gap a little bit. Clausen gets set and delivers. Right over the plate, and that ends the inning. Clausen freezes Arnone with bases loaded, and we head to the top of the 9th. Minnesota has been dominant so far, a 12-2 lead. We still got an inning left of baseball here at Rocky and Bernice Miller Park.